name is Khoa Bui, and in this podcast, I'm pleased to interview Dr. Judith Orloff. She is a renowned author of the book, The Empath Survival Guide, and she has written several other books that is currently on the bestseller list as well. She's also written another book called Thriving as an Empath. Today, she is currently doing coaching workshops around the world where she teaches people on how they can set healthy boundaries and live a more fulfilling life. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Judith Orloff. Thanks.
First and foremost, I'd just like to thank you for your time, Judith. And just like to say that, I really love your work in teaching others how to become, more protected in terms of becoming an empath as well. And, I've read your book and I've got the audio CD, and, it's a real true honor to have you on the show. And it's going to be a really exciting episode. So I'm really keen to interview you. So thank you for your time today.
You're very welcome.
No worries. Awesome. So, so first and foremost, I was thinking, for those that don't know what an empath is, I was wondering, could you quickly explain what is really an empath?
Oh, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm also an empath. And so what that means is that I combine my traditional psychiatric skills, scientific skills with being an empath. And an empath is an emotional sponge who tends to be very open without the same kind of filters that other people have. And so we tend to feel everything. And we like quiet time. We like nature. Intuition is very strong. We like being with one or two people rather than crowds of people.
Yeah.
We're very sensitive to noise, smells, and excessive talking. And we tend to absorb the energy and emotions and even physical symptoms of others. And that's why I wrote Thriving as an Empath, to give people self-care techniques for every day of the year, to not absorb other people's energy, to learn how to center yourself, to have reminders to take alone time, to have reminders to set boundaries, because empaths tend to be over-helpers. And they tend to give so much that they become exhausted a lot of the times, or with many physical illnesses.
Yeah, that's true. As I was growing up, I tend to have this feeling that I could pick up people's energies. And it was just only recently when I came across your book, I just did the test, and I realized that, I'm an empath as well. And I was able to just pick up on people's energies. I'm like the emotional empath, where I could just the emotional energies of people. And just reminds me of time when I was at work, and there's like, I sometimes I come across some narcissist people, and some weird reason I just feel angry. And when I walk out of the meeting, I don't know why, but I just feel angry. But then I realize that, some people in that room are very toxic. So then your book really helped me in terms of, finding out the techniques and try to protect yourself. So yeah, it's a really inspiring book.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad, because empaths often feel exhausted or on sensory overload or on overwhelm if they don't have the self-care techniques. And that's why Thriving as an Empath is so essential. I use these self-care techniques in my own life. It works in my own life as an empath. If I don't, and if I go and I miss a few days or a week, I'll start to feel overwhelmed. And going on sensory overload is not a fun feeling. And so the self-care techniques can stop that from happening, which is wonderful for empaths.
So what would be some of the self-care techniques that you've mentioned just recently? How to protect yourself? Yeah.
Well, one is to learn how to set healthy boundaries with draining people. Because empaths often just tend to be with people and not set the boundaries because they're afraid of being impolite. They're afraid of hurting other people's feelings. They tend to be people pleasers. And so one of the techniques in the book is knowing that no is a complete sentence. It's learning how to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't go out tonight. I want to stay home. No, I can't go to that event. No, I'm not able to go out with this person, because they're not who I want to hang out with. You can, have your no's, positive no's, where you say it with love in your eyes, but affirm, no in your mouth, in your voice.
Yeah. I know it's really hard to say no because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, and it's just something that you're just born with, I guess. But I think it's what you've mentioned there about setting boundaries and just saying no. You free up a lot of time as well, and energy. So I think that's really insightful there.
And empaths need to know how to do time management. Because if you just give and you do things for other people all the time, you're going to lose yourself and you're going to lose your center. And then an empath might develop an ache or pain, or they might develop, a stomach ache, or they might develop exhaustion, or suddenly, they're wondering why they're not feeling well. They're feeling, brain fog. So as an empath, I have to be really in touch with my own body. And every day I have to listen to my body. What does it need today? And then rearrange my plans accordingly. And that's often hard for empaths because they do what they say they're going to do. They're very responsible. They show up, but oftentimes at the expense of their own energy. And I'm just saying, be aware of your energy as an empath. Empaths sense energy. That's the language that they understand. People give off vibes. Some people will give off positive energy, and you want to be around them, and you want to hug them, and you want to look into their eyes. And some people give off negative energy that is not healthy for you. So you don't want to look into their eyes and hug them and be around them too much.
Yeah, I find that I think as you get older, your intuitive abilities get stronger, and you can just pick up vibes a lot more effectively. And I'm just finding myself, I'm just reached a point in my stage where I could really sense things really well. And as you get healthier, like when you exercise, when you go out there in nature, you just tune in this ability as empathy. And it's just really fascinating on how some people have it, but some people don't. But we're just born with it, right? So
some empaths are born in the Empath Survival Guide, which is the book that goes along with thriving as an empath. I have a 20-question self-assessment test that you can take to self-diagnose yourself as an empath, in case you didn't know. And there are questions like, have I been labeled as, quote, overly sensitive growing up in a negative way? Do I absorb other people's emotions? Do I love nature? Am I sensitive to noise, smells, or excessive talking? So these are kind of questions you have to ask yourself to determine your level of sensitivity. And then if you are an empath, that's a whole revelation, because then you can shift how you lead your life.
Was it about, I think it's about 2 or 3% of the population of people who are empaths? Is that correct? Or is that the statistics?
I think it's probably more. What I've noticed as I've been going around on book tour in the US for thriving as an empath is that more and more people are becoming empaths. There's all the stress in the world is just stripping them bare so that their sensitivities are raw and wide open. So there are more and more empaths out there.
Okay. And how about like routines and what would be like the recommended routine for empaths in taking care of themselves? Is there a set routine, or is there something that you employ when you're in a situation, or is it
both? Both. I think if you can have a healthy routine, like going to sleep at a good time and getting plenty of rest and having dream time. There's a type of empath called a dream empath that I talk about in the book. And these are empaths who get guidance from their dreams and listen to their dreams every night, as I do. And so it's important to get good sleep and not be on your computer before you go to bed. Have a 2-hour rule that you won't have any of that blue light or any of that information overload. Take a bath, listen to music, meditate, do something inward, quiet your system down so you're not overstimulated. That's the key for empaths, because if you go right into sleep from being on the computer, it's not pleasant. No, you want to ease into dream time. And when you get up in the morning, you might want to take a few deep breaths, say some gratitude affirmations, rather than getting caught up in, oh my God, I have so much to do. How am I going to ever get it done?
Yeah.
Which is a negative story. And to start the day off well. Now, I start the day off with attuning at my sacred space and putting my hands together and just saying a nice prayer for the day. to start me off that way. Because I
Mm.
think starting off the day with gratitude is very important, as you never know when your life, what's going to happen in your life. I mean, life can go at a second, so you want to be grateful for everything. You don't
Mm.
want to take it for granted.
Mm.
Even if you've been gifted with days, weeks, years of good health or vibrance, you want to be grateful for it. Just because it hasn't been taken away from you doesn't mean you can't be grateful for it. But see, what happens is when something is taken away, then you're ever more grateful for it. You don't want to wait for that. You want to be grateful for what you do have. And everything you have is a blessing. Your mind, your emotions, your heart, your
Mm.
health. It's a blessing. And you want to see it as that. You don't want to take it for granted.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it seems as if we need to generate a source of positive energy in our circle. Um, and I think I was listening to another podcast that you mentioned before, and I think what you said was really great. Is about decompressing, and
Yes.
yeah, when you're in a situation and then it's a situation that you don't like, but you pull yourself out and you decompress. And yeah, so would you mind explaining a bit about that one?
Decompress means giving yourself time to process something. And
Mm.
let's say you were you went to work and it was a stressful day at work, or you had meetings with narcissists, or you had, meetings with people who are draining you, and you just
Mm.
come home and you're just overwhelmed. And so you want to take that time to breathe, relax, maybe look out in nature or take a walk. Give yourself time to lower your stimulation level and build up some positive energy by putting your hand over your heart,
Mm.
which is your heart center. There's a meditation in Thriving as an Empath, 3-minute heart meditation to decompress, where you put your hand over your heart, you breathe, you focus on something loving or something beautiful like the night sky or
Mm.
grassy meadow or the ocean, and you let yourself be taken in by that energy, and that shifts your day. It
Mm.
shifts your day, and you do it for 3 minutes. I do this 3-minute heart meditation every day throughout the day for years, because I find it invaluable as an empath to come back to the love center inside my chest, which is an energetic center that you want to learn how to attune with it.
Mm. Okay. And so you put your hand on your heart and you
In the
breathe.
middle,
Yep.
in the
Yep.
middle.
Okay.
No, in the middle. Yeah, right
In the
there.
middle, yeah. Okay. Yep. And then you breathe and then you think about something positive, right?
What would be beautiful, and what do you love? What gives
Mm.
you just so
Mm.
much happiness?
Oh, wow.
I'm asking you.
Oh, me. What really brings me happiness is, I would say, just yeah, listening to music. I really love listening to music. And what I do is in the morning, I tend to light up a candle, and I just like to just meditate and just center myself and just clear any thoughts and negativity and ideas in the past and everything. I just like having just that blank mental state. That's what I really like in the mornings and stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and
Beautiful, but that will help you decompress. And
mm.
decompress means letting go of all the negativity, or all of the stories, or all of the voices, or all of the opinions and criticisms and everything
Mm.
people you might encounter during the day. Decompress means letting go of all of it and
Mm.
coming back to what you know to be true, and relax in your heart, in your body, with your music,
Mm.
with sounds of the ocean, with sounds of rain. You might want to listen to thunderstorms, whatever you love. You want to bring it back to what's truly important, not just what upset you or what was frustrating during the day.
Mm. Mm.
Empaths must learn,
Yeah.
in self-care techniques, not to fuel frustration.
Mm.
To shift out of that, to recognize, okay, I had a rough day. That's, it's okay. Now I'm going to do what I know how to do to come back to myself. And
Mm.
you can use Thriving as an Empath at those moments. You could just turn to a random page and it'll give you a self-care technique to use at that moment.
Mm.
Like if you
Okay.
turn to it and it says, rest and sleep, you immediately want to go to your bed, and pull down your covers and get comfortable and
I love
get
sleeping.
ready to rest and sleep. But you want to be prepared to follow the advice in the book. You don't want to argue with it. You don't want to go, and maybe later, but you want to do it.
So just take the actions. So you recommend just refer to the book, go to a random page, and then just take the action on the particular page, and then just do it, and then that will just slowly heal yourself in those situations. Is that right?
You have to, yes, you have to trust that there's an invisible wisdom, an intuitive wisdom here in that, because that will take out the overthinking element. So you don't want to overthink. When you're overwhelmed, the last thing you want to do is overthink. So the best way to use the book at that moment is to randomly pick a page, intuitively pick a page, and accept that is your perfect guidance. And follow it without argument, without reasons. Just do it and see if you feel better.
Okay. My biggest challenge is just dealing with like negative people. Because I'm always, I love people, but sometimes I need to just be at a distance and, try and take care of them from a distance. So, but I'm always amongst people. And when I go to meetings at work, and you always meet all these different types of people. And these situations occur where it's really negative. And sometimes I can't stop thinking about it, and it just really affects me. But yeah, I've still got a lot to learn to practice and decompress as well. And it's just one of the biggest challenges that I have. So
yes, but it's a worthy challenge, and the one self-care technique is not overthinking. It's just picturing your mind as an open field that's clear and fresh and open, and there's nothing in there clogging it up, such as your thoughts. Your thoughts are what cause the suffering, and so you have difficult people that you're dealing with at work. I mean, I think most people do. It's one of the challenges that you have to deal with, but you want to breathe through it. You want to not be reactive to it. One of the techniques in thriving as an empath is to know your emotional triggers, so you're not reactive. If somebody pushes a button, you're not enough, or you're not doing your job well enough, let's say, and that's one of your buttons, and that upsets you, then that's your healing to do. Your low self-esteem, or you're feeling inadequate. So it's a mirror that helps to shine back on us what we need to do for our own healing. So I think that's so beautiful.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so how about, I think like in your book you also mentioned there's also different types of empaths as well. And some people, they might identify with the different types. So would you mind letting us know what's the different types of empaths?
Well, in general, they're extroverted empaths and introverted empaths. Not all empaths are introverted. I'm more of an introverted one, because I like staying at home and being with one or two people, or being in nature, being by the ocean.
Beautiful.
I don't like large
I love that.
Yeah. There are a lot of us who are introverted. However, there are some that are extroverted, empaths who like to get out there and, be with people and go to parties, but they also need to decompress afterwards.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets to be too much with their sensitive neurological systems. Too much socialization can put them on overstimulation. So they need to take special care of themselves. But there's a myth that we're only introverts, and that's not so. Then there's, intuitive empaths, emotional empaths, physical empaths. Physical empaths actually pick up the physical symptoms or the physical state of other people. So you can literally be standing next to somebody and feel their well-being, or you can feel their pain. And sometimes empaths can't tell what's them and what's somebody else. So in thriving as an empath, I have techniques to use to tell the difference. And the first technique is to get in the habit of asking yourself that question, and not just assume it's you. Is this emotion mine, or is this physical symptom mine, or is it somebody else's? So that's a whole new revelation, that you could be picking up somebody else's stuff. And that isn't something you want to do. You want to learn how to protect your energy and practice some of the self-care techniques, such as shielding, or breathing out, or keeping distance from somebody, or not looking into their eyes so you don't intensify picking up their energy. learning how to work with physical contact so that you minimize physical contact, touching, handshakes, hugs, with somebody who has negative energy. So these are ways to protect yourself, you see, but you have to learn to work with being a physical empath, being an emotional empath. If you tend to pick up other people's emotions, if you go into a house and everybody's upset, do you get upset?
Yeah, definitely. If you go into a room, you can pick up the energy. Then sometimes you don't know why you're feeling upset. So, yeah.
Right. But as empaths, you can begin to have the dialogue. Is this mine? Is this somebody else's? Rather than just assuming it's yours. And I want to say I have an online course that will help people do this too. It's a 9-lesson downloadable course, Empath Survival Guide online course that's on my website, drjudithorloff.com. If you're interested in 9 download lessons on how to practice some of the techniques we're talking about.
Okay, so the online course, you can find it at Dr. Judith Orloff, .com, and
yes.
okay. How big is the course, by the way? Is it a few hours, or is it video format, audio format?
It's a video format where I'm teaching each course, and they're an hour-long lesson, and I go into what is an empath, empaths and work, empaths and love, empaths and emotions, empaths and health. So each lesson has a different specific topic. Empaths and relationships, how do you be an empath and feel good in intimate relationships? Empaths and parenting. So I go through various topics, 1-hour lessons, and I teach. So it's like having, being together. It's a very intimate experience. I really enjoyed creating that course, which sounds true.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think I clicked on it the other day, and I really love the layout that you've got there, the information that you're sharing there. It looks really nice. So I can't wait to subscribe to that one, and I'll check it out. It sounds like a really good course. So
okay. Great.
No worries. Okay, so just curious, a bit about yourself. How did you discover that you were an empath, and was there like a transition, or what happened at the start that made you discover?
Yeah, I was always a sensitive child, and I would have very strong intuitions about people. I'd be able to pick up energy, and I was an empath child, but my parents, who were both physicians, said, "Oh dear, you just don't have a thick enough skin. You need to change. You need to be tougher." And I didn't know how to do that. And plus, I interpreted that as something was wrong with me. So I grew up believing there was something wrong with me. And it was only after having a lot of wonderful guides who helped me in terms of people, helped me see that it's a beautiful quality and I needed to develop it, that I began owning it and feeling comfortable in my own skin being an empath. But it's a process. And that's why I'm so passionate about writing these books for people, so they can have it easier than I did. Because I didn't have much support for a lot of years. And so I felt pretty alone with it, and I didn't know what to make of it. And so I want to make it easier for other people, to give them a path to go on, because we all have a lot of similarities. All the empaths have similar histories, similar needs, similar protection strategies, similar self-care techniques. So we can all do this together. And I don't know if any of your audience is in the US, but I'm giving an Empath Retreat April 25th and 26th.
Wow.
In Los Angeles for any empaths in the area, to replenish, to learn about being an empath, to take time out and just be an empowered empath and take some time out for yourself among others who see you.
Awesome. So what do you normally do at the workshop, by the way?
We do a combination of dialoguing, Q&A, meditation, visualization, earthing, self-care techniques, communication with other empaths, small groups. So we do a lot of different things. And it's the first day is out in nature. The second day is on the beach. So
nice.
Yeah.
So that sounds like something I need to do.
In a hotel room, without windows. It's One is a beautiful, park setting, and the other is on the Santa Monica Beach. So,
Oh,
in a
nice.
structure. So it's going to be a beautiful weekend in April.
Very nice. I heard that it's good to take your shoes off and just walk around bare feet, like, in nature and everything. So you just root yourself into the ground. It just makes you feel better, right? So if you just remove your shoes, yeah.
Birthing is one of the techniques I talk about in Thriving as an Empath. And whenever you can, in Sydney, it's definitely possible to take off your shoes, walk, on the ground. If you could get by a creek or an ocean, you can let your feet, the neurons in your feet and the energy in your feet absorb the Earth's electrons. So you have that connection going with Mother Earth. You're not separate from her.
Any chance of coming to Australia to do like a workshop or anything, or is it just only in America? Or?
I hope so. I mean, I work through invitations. So if I get a great invitation to do a conference in Australia, I'll definitely be there. I love the country, and I can't wait to put my own feet in earth.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got a few friends who do like events and everything. So I'll see whether I can introduce them to you as well. So see if you can bring your awesome work over to Australia and help inspire others. So
thank you. That would be great.
Yeah, I noticed that like there's not that many people who's teaching this stuff. Like you're the only, you're pretty much the only person that's teaching this, and that's really incredible. Like you're like the leader of empathy of empaths, and you're just going out there just teaching others and how to take care of themselves. I think the world needs a lot more people like you to help light the way. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm trying to, I'm doing a health workshop for healthcare practitioners in March to train the healthcare practitioners who are empaths, how to be with their clients and patients and how to treat their empath patients. So, I'm trying to give workshops for different segments of society, to get them all ready and to go forward and have this awareness and support people. It's a beautiful thing. There's actually a movement, I think, since my first book, a movement of empath awakening everywhere.
Wow.
It's really beautiful. Yeah, because they used to hide in the shadows. They're ashamed. They think there's something wrong with them, but no more.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, it's like you're light worker. You're lighting up the darkness, right? So helping
I'm
out
doing
all
the best I can, along with others.
Awesome. Okay, and one final question is, if you were to go inside a time machine and you hit a button and you had to go back 10, 20 years, what would you say to your younger self?
Keep listening to your intuition. Keep following your inner voice. Don't question it. That would be the most important thing. And also that you're perfect just as you are. You don't have to change. Because I always felt like I had to be different. I had to fit in. I never fit in. I was always the road less traveled. So I was trying to, where do I belong? Why don't I fit in? And just to be happy with my outsider self, was always on the, an outsider, always the one doing the unusual thing, not the mainstream thing. So that was hard, earlier on in my life, but no more. I mean, I really love who I am, and that's my nature. And I love all the downtrodden and the outsiders and all the weird people, and I love them.
Okay.
No, they're not weird. I say weird, but I don't mean weird.
That's all right.
No, the gift of being different. The gift of being, diverse, and however your nature expresses itself. And so many empaths have so many ways of expressing their empath nature. And I really encourage you all to keep doing that. Don't let anyone squash you.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so I think you mentioned before, how can people get in contact with you?
Yes, you can get Thriving as an Empath on Amazon, and it's also, information is on my website, Dr. Judith Orloff, ORLOFF.com. The online course is on my website, and my lecture schedule is on my website. And there's also a journal called the Empaths Empowerment Journal, where you can write about your empath issues and self and become empowered. It's a private journal and it's fun. It's not a hard thing to do. It's very fun and private and for you to express yourself, which is also on drjudithorloff.com.
Fantastic. All right. So Judith, I really appreciate your time and sharing your valuable wisdom with us today. And it's a true honor to interview you as well. And just like to say, I just, wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And I know that you're going to be inspiring, many more people around the world and also, lighting up the darkness as well. So, really appreciate your time today.
You're very welcome.
No worries. Okay.